Welcome to the AUC Authors Series. In this series of programs, we interview the authors in the Atlanta University Center community and introduce you to their latest published works. This program is produced by Anthony Kinsey and Janesta Horn.
Our guest today is Ms. Neely Terrell. Ms. Terrell is the project coordinator for Recruiting Tomorrow's Library Leaders, which is funded by the Mellon Foundation. Today, we'll be discussing her book, Super Singles Activated, and her other published works.
Hello, Neely. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. About your work, would you mind giving us an overview of it?
Yes. My first book is called Dumped and Delivered. That's about relationships from a spiritual point of view.
Okay.
And the second book is Super Singles Activate, which is something to inspire single women, another spiritual book. And the other book is The Brown Orange, My Life in Chapters and Chunks. I changed that title, but that's also about relationships. And basically, those books intertwine because romantic relationships has always been my favorite topic. It catches people's attention, people relate to it, and I decided to publish books with that theme because they catch people's attention.
Well, Miss Neely, I see that you have written 3 other books that actually seem to all be related in somehow. Could you give us a little bit of insight on those as well?
Yes. Well, I have different works, but my latest is actually a book of quotes from a pastor that I admired when I was in Buffalo. I was in Buffalo from September 2008 to September 2011, and I took notes from his church. I attended his church in 2009, but I took notes every Sunday, and they were so stellar, and they stood out so much that I figured, hey, I can publish these into a book, because I already knew the route. I published my first book in 2009, so I wanted to help him. I knew he needed a book. Something about him that, made me think, okay, I have to help him get published. So I got those quotes together that I've written for every Sunday, and I got them published.
Awesome. So, what caused you to choose your topic that we were just speaking of?
Well, just the fact that I admired him, and he'd always preach sermons that spoke to my heart. So I had to write those down, and when I wrote them down, I realized I need to get published.
Awesome. And I know your book, Super Singles Activate, you actually co-edited that. How was that process for you?
It was very interesting because the person that I co-edited the book with, Alexis Fly Jones, we collaborated through the internet, through the phone. We hadn't seen each other since 2007, but we published this book in 2010. And it's just, we made it public. We made it public in 2011, but we pretty much had it complete in 2010. Actually, no, you know what? That was the starting point. But the dates get a little mixed up. But it was very interesting and frustrating because I couldn't meet her in person. But we got this book together, without seeing each other. And that experience was very interesting. I'll just say that. But it was well worth it in the end.
Well, as I see, those experiences have produced some wonderful works. So there are some in the audience that might be thinking of writing a book and might be a little bit intimidated about starting. Do you have any types of pointers that you might be able to give some of the people in the audience?
Yes. I'll give them the advice that all other published writers gave me when I wanted a book. Keep writing. Because you can't publish a book if there's no writing. You have to write, and when you feel like it's completely complete, and when you're content with the product, you type it up and you do your own research. And I recommend self-publishing because you're on your own time. No one has the rights to your books but you. And but the main thing is keep writing and get that book finished first.
Okay. Well, Miss Neely, I see that you also have co-edited and produced another book, which is entitled Not Afraid to Wait. Mm-hmm. So my question is, do you enjoy co-editing or writing more?
I enjoy editing and producing more than writing my own books because seeing a first-time published author's face after they see their book it touches my heart. And I love that more than my own smiles, seeing other people's smiles. And my goal is to get as many people published as possible, especially those who've never been published before. And this book was awesome because she had been working on this book for years, and finally I showed up in Buffalo and I helped her out, and her excitement made me excited. So that made me enjoy editing and producing more than writing my own books.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm sure that it is a great book. I'm glad that you shared so many details about your writing process, and thank you.
So, Neely, I was wondering, do you have another project coming up?
Yes, as mentioned before, it's a book of quotes from a pastor that I admired in Buffalo, and I loved him. I still do, but he's very wise, and so I'm getting those quotes together. I'm editing it now, and I was going to give that to you to look at, but it's under construction.
That's all right. So I was wondering, were you able to use the library to help you with the research for this work, either in Buffalo or the current project with the quotes?
Well, because my books focus on raw experiences, I didn't need the library because I only needed testimonies. That's why I like to focus on testimonies for my book. So they didn't need any research, just people's experiences. But I do have books in libraries in Buffalo. So the library wasn't completely out because I needed them to help promote my book. And so I went into one library, a public library, actually two, and I said, how can I get my book on your shelves? And suddenly I got all the things I needed, and I contacted those people that were needed to be contacted, and I got my books on the shelves. I got my own call numbers.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I understand you said you mostly write about raw experiences. So can you speak about the process of maturing as a writer while writing about other people's experiences? And then to further expound, do you feel like you have fully developed your voice?
Yes, I'm maturing as a writer. Thing is, you need to have a sense of self, because if you don't know who you are, you'll never know your own voice. So when I went to Buffalo, I didn't have any family up there. I just went up there for library school where I got my master's in library science. But I got a close relationship with myself and the Lord, my higher power. And so when I spent more time with Him, I was able to develop my voice. And since I love writing, whatever my voice was came out in whatever I did, and that was writing. So I matured that way because I found a greater sense of self. And what was the second question you asked me?
Have you fully developed your voice as a writer?
Yes, I have. Simply because I spent that time in Buffalo away from family and friends and having to start over from scratch. I was able to develop some kind of foundation for myself because I didn't have my family there to fill in all my gaps. So I had to rely on something bigger than myself so that my voice could be developed.
Wow. So I understand that you wrote a short fiction, that you were a semi-finalist in the 14th annual Gertrude Johnson Williams competition for short fiction. Could you tell us a little bit about the short story, please?
Wow, that was a long time ago, actually. I really can't. I have to be honest, because a lot of times when I get an award, I get excited. I dwell on it for a long time, and then I forget it because I'm so busy trying to focus on the next thing to accomplish. So I really couldn't tell you about this story.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yes.
So I was wondering, do you still write? And if so, what are the mechanics of the writing process? Is it every day at a certain time, or a certain amount of words, or a certain place even?
Yes, I still write, and there's no special process. It's only spontaneous now. When I was little, I actually started writing seriously when I was 11. And I wrote a short story and a poem every day. I dedicated that to myself. And that's how I honed my craft. But now it's the humdrum of day-to-day work and responsibilities and adult stuff. So I don't really write as much, but when I do get inspiration, I follow that inspiration, and my best work comes out then. So that's why I like to focus on other people's writings, because they give me inspiration to, I guess, publish more people. So I don't focus so much on my own writing nowadays.
But do you miss the days when you used to write a short story and a poem every day, or do you plan on trying to go back to those days once you get older? I
don't miss those days at all, because other people's happiness mean more to me than, like I said, my own. Of course, I have my own happiness. I'm a happy person, but I love to make other people happy. So yes.
I understand that you work at the Robert W. Woodruff Library. Could you tell me a little bit about what you do here?
Yes. I am the Mellon Project Coordinator, and I basically manage an internship, and I manage interns. I have to do recruitment, develop forms, communicate with other schools that are participating, and as well as their interns, and it's a lot of little pieces, but basically I'm involved in this internship, and we are hoping to reach out to as many college students in Atlanta University Center as possible, as well as other HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, and basically let them know that there are careers in libraries. And when I was an intern, a library intern, I didn't know there were different types of libraries and librarians. So it's funny that my life has led me in this direction to be over this internship. Of course, I have someone over me, but the fact that I have to oversee the project that got me to where I am in the same place, which is the Woodruff Library, is astounding to me. So that's what I do.
So I understand the internship focuses on librarians that come out of a unique background. What was your undergraduate major?
My undergrad major was English, and that's it, because I don't want to be too wordy, but that's my major.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Neely, I understand that you're a reader. Mm-hmm. So what are you currently reading, or what are your 2 favorite books?
Currently I am trying to read the entire Holy Bible. The word is so dense, so I choose the short books and then I go for the long books. But that's what I'm currently reading, and other spiritual books. Also, my favorite books are A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown and Gal by Ruthie Bolton, and both of those are autobiographies and memoirs. So those are the kind of books. Those are the kinds of books that keep my attention. And I also love books by comedians. They're hilarious.
Neely, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.